Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Sicilian Corner. My name is Mike. Lou's pushing the buttons, and the only thing I'm looking at right now, Cousin Lou, is a lighthouse. That's the only thing I have.
Let me come in and fix it. I know what you did.
Yeah, weave your magic. That's why I was late in the opening. But this week, folks, our guest, Tom Damigella.
Damigella.
It's a pleasure to have him on board with us as usual. And I don't know how this guy finds time to do half the stuff that he does, but I salute him. And there he is now. I can see you now. Before I was looking at this beautiful lighthouse. Oh my God, I was ready to take my shoes off and go for a walk. It was just beautiful. Just beautiful. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, Mike. Doing great.
You know, it's off air. We were talking, and I just want to say publicly, I know you just did your vows at St. Leonard's Church after 50 years, and you were telling me how moved you were in that beautiful, beautiful church, and it really got to you. It was sentimental, and you got a little emotional doing those vows over again. What's your wife's first name?
Rita.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that church now, man, I'll tell you, it looks like you're in Italy. That they remodeled at St. Leonard's. It's picture perfect, and it must have taken how many years? I think it was 3 years they worked on that, huh, Tom?
Yeah, it was, and I think it's several millions of dollars they had to raise, $3 million, I think, to do it, and it was really beautifully done. And that was built in 1873 by Italian immigrants. It's the first church built by Italian immigrants, Catholic church in New England at that time.
Oh, in New England. Wow.
Yeah, it really was historical, and it's beautiful. Like you said earlier, Mike, it's like something you see like in Italy. It's gorgeously done. I bring people there all the time, and we just added another sculpture to the church in the Peace Garden, which is absolutely beautiful.
I like the way you segue. No, you know something, you're smooth, man. You're like silk. So tell us, what was the addition to the
Well, it's called the Noble Journey, and it happens to represent our ancestors that came from the old country. And the first steps they took into the new world back then was not off a plane, came off a ship, down the gangplank. And we had a prestigious sculptor, Nancy Shern, who did Make Way for the Ducklings, sculptures that are in the public gardens.
Mm-hmm.
But she was the person that designed the sculpture, and what it is a 5 by 8 foot bronze gangway with 18 sets of footprints on it, as if those are our ancestors' footprints coming off the ships to the New World, from Italy to America. And those footprints represent my nana's, my nonno, and my mother's. As a little girl, she came from Sicily, and that's what that commemorates. And we dedicated that September 29th, 2024. We had about 400 people in the Peace Garden that came that were all part of that experience because, there's so many Italians in the North End, East Boston, et cetera, and they came and they gave us, we have 140 photographs on a 12-foot banner with their ancestors' pictures on it, on the fence of St. Leonard's. You walk by there, you see our relatives. It was just a beautiful addition, and the North End Historical Society donated along with the Friends of the North End, and that was a project that was with our group that did it last year, and that's done. Now we're on for another project, as you know, is the museum. But anyway, so it's just another thing, another reason to go to the Peace Garden, and then you can actually see our friend Christopher Columbus there in the Peace Garden too, Mike.
That was a great move, and Father DePena, the pastor, is, boy, I'll tell you, what an asset he is to the North End. Let me tell you, that guy is unbelievable.
That's it right there, Mike.
Yeah, beautiful. I've seen it.
This is the one that they knocked down and decapitated back in 2020, and it was had to be repaired. Now he's got a scar right here, though. It's okay. But
needs plastic surgery, does he?
Yeah, you have to get very close. It was well done, and but he's a Franciscan, and Father Michael Della Penna is a Franciscan, and he's in the garden with Saint Francis, etc. So it's a perfect location for him, and 1 million people will walk by that garden every year. So I know it's not an original site that he was taken down from at Christopher Columbus Park, But Father Michael made this arrangement with the Knights of Columbus, which he's a member. And one day it just took it from their parking lot and put it in the garden.
You know something? That's an awesome story. That's a little, I love that. Nice and safe. And, you know, he's on display instead of being put in some kind of a warehouse somewhere and nobody can see it.
And it's a private property, and we didn't have to have any permission from any politician or the city or anything. That's how we handled it.
Cool beans. Tom, to our listeners, you're vice president of the Italian American Alliance, which is 8,000 strong now, I believe.
Yeah.
And your work is, I mean, you're into everything. I mean, you really are. I mean, you're doing everything you possibly can to keep our culture and our traditions alive. Could you tell our listeners, and I know it's been a little over a year since last you've been with us, but what exactly does the Italian American Alliance stand for?
Just what you said. We believe in preserving and protecting and nourishing the legacy of our ancestors, Italian culture, and our heritage. We're very proud of that. And I think we try to promote programs that support our culture. We've done fundraisers at the Sons of Italy in Watertown. We have, in fact, tonight we have people coming from Messina, Sicily, that's going to give authentic dancing from our culture. There will be what we're going to be entertained tonight. We plan to have them hopefully at with other entertainers at the Tall Ship here in East Boston for Christopher Columbus Day, which is going to be a day celebrating our Italian heritage, recognizing Columbus as a great hero that the Italian American community since 1892 has identified with as a symbol of our pride, of what we are as Italian Americans and what it means to us and what we contributed to this country. So those are examples of what we try to do. This is our fourth year we're doing it. It takes a lot of time and energy and to create those types of things, especially when 2020 just killed all the parades of Christopher Columbus. You know, the whole cancel culture thing took place, and this is what we fight against. We want to be a voice that contradicts that. And we had a flag raising at the City Hall on October 1st. So the Italian Heritage Committee, several members are on that, and we recognized 1999. Governor Cilucci made Italian American Heritage Month October. So we do a lot of things that all year long that supports who we are. You know, the Sons of Italy does it, but this is what we do too. We're another organization that supports all that.
But you know, Tom, someone who is very dear to the both of us, and there would not be an Italian American Alliance if it wasn't for Dr. Frank Mazzaglia. And he was one of the nicest and brightest people I think I've ever met, Lou. This guy, I think he had like 6 degrees, Tom, didn't he?
Wow.
Yeah, he's well learned. He could write wonderfully. And, you know, he was very passionate about what we just spoke about. He was an advocate for the Admiral Christopher Columbus. And he was one of the first people that I got involved with. And he became, well, to tell you the truth, he was he was on a committee that deals with Christopher Columbus nationally. And when he passed away, I took his position. So he's been one of my mentors that inspired me when I first got involved with the Italian American Alliance. And there's one other gentleman that I have to mention, Michael.
I'm
you
glad
might have known, Dr. Dom Amara. Again, he and Frank were friends, and they're from the same generation. And Dom was, a learned man, passionate about what we're talking about. And we became such great friends. I miss him so badly. He passed away this July. And so the two of them have now passed on, but they were great inspirations for the rest of us to follow about what we've been just discussing.
Dr. Mazzaglia was a member of the Sant'Alfio Society here in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And boy, I'll tell you, his heart, no matter what needed to get done, he was always there. I mean, he helped us, especially when it came to, you know, dealing with getting someone to do the mass and, you know, getting a bishop or, you know.
Yeah, he was connected. He knew people. He knew the right people.
the guy
Yeah.
had more juice. I mean, Jeepers
Yeah.
creepers. He was like Tropicana.
And he's good with the media too. He knew how to communicate with the media also. He had that down pat too. Yeah.
He unfortunately the day he passed, we were doing a Zoom meeting and you were on it that
You
particular
know,
night. Yeah.
I'll never forget that. He passed
Yeah.
away in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. And it was shocking.
In the
Oh,
meeting.
I was,
He was talking and somebody else started to say something and then he wouldn't come back. We couldn't see him
he
anymore.
disappeared. And what
Yes.
happened is he just fell off. He fell in,
Fell right off there.
Oh my God.
It was, and none of us knew it until it was over. And then I got the call right after the meeting.
Yeah,
was over.
his wife went up and found him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It
Uh,
was very bizarre. Yeah.
it's really a shame. You know, you were talking about the statue being vandalized at Christopher Columbus Park in 2020. You know, we had some politicians in place, and you know, everybody has an agenda. Everybody has an agenda, and they don't want to stir the pot. But the way that was handled by the mayor at that time, Marty Walsh, I mean, he didn't take a position one way or the other. It was like a non-event. Could care less.
Yeah, and you know, I have a personal insight that has to do with Frank Mazzaglia. We were going to have a rally, and I was just getting involved at that time, so I don't know all the details firsthand. But they were going to have a rally down at the park because of it, and Marty Walsh was concerned about how heightened the issue was at that time. So he talked them into not doing it. Do me a favor. We'll get to this. We'll have discussions later. Yeah, and all that. So they agreed to it. Of course, a lot of people were upset. We should have done it. But Frank Mazzaglia was being considerate to Marty Walsh at the time. That's the story I got. And then as time went on, they buried it.
Yeah.
And we never got back to, and then he left Boston.
Yeah, and then the one that took his place, acting mayor Janney, she was as useless as to me, in my opinion, she was a conniver. I mean, she was what she pulled in the middle of the night was just pure baloney.
Yeah, it's almost like a sneak attack at what she
Absolutely.
did. The last day of her temporary mayorship, because she got the position when he left.
Yeah,
She was
spiteful, and I'll say that.
Yeah, and damn it, the day before she left, she called a press conference at City Hall, and that day, Don Lamar was there and Diane Monica saw it in person, and surprised everybody. She had Native Americans from the United American Indians of New England on stage with her, and she makes the announcement with an executive order.
I know.
To eliminate and replace Columbus Day with Indigenous people.
Can you imagine that? This is her last few hours.
Then she's gone.
She's gone. Where did she end up? Do you know?
You know what? I have no idea.
Yeah, well, she
No
got
idea.
what she deserved.
Yeah. And I still think to this day it was an illegal executive order because she was a temporary mayor, and you'd have to go through a whole lawsuit to prove it, and time, money, etc. But I think the whole thing should be reversed. And even though it's a state holiday, and that's one of the other things we do as Italian American Alliance, we are an advocate to support and protect Columbus Day as a holiday, and we've lobbied personally the State House every time a bill comes up, and it comes up every year with sponsors to eliminate Columbus Day as a state holiday. It's a federal holiday, and we have to fight against it. And we have public hearings, and we go to the public hearings to give our piece.
Right.
And we did it again this October, and the bill goes nowhere. But we have to always be vigilant.
No kidding. It comes up every year.
Every year. I've done 4 years in a row now.
Our current administration that's running this country now has opinions on Christopher Columbus, and you know something? I'm glad that he feels the way he feels, President Trump.
Very strongly. He's 100% different opinion. Do you know the last proclamations that came out for Columbus Day under the Biden administration were really terrible written proclamations?
Oh, terrible is right.
But you know how we changed them was that Basil Russo, president of the Conference of Presidents of Italian Major Organizations, he basically got their attention 2 years ago, and he wrote the proclamation for them and educated them and gave it more substance, which is wonderful. But at the same time, Biden, for the first time ever, he wrote a proclamation recognizing Columbus Day also as Indigenous Peoples Day, which is not true. It's not legal. He just created a proclamation out of thin air. Now, thank you. President Trump did not even do that this year. He just wonderfully wrote a proclamation for Columbus, and his first paragraph is just wonderful. And he started. Do you want me to read the paragraph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's a little lengthy, Tom, but
No, this one's short.
Oh,
The whole
okay.
thing's lengthy. This is just the first paragraph. Today, our nation honors the legendary Christopher Columbus, the original American hero. American, not just Italian. See, that's important. I got a lot of non-Italians that think the whole thing is ludicrous of getting rid of Columbus. A giant of Western civilization, another important note, and one of the most gallant and visionary men in ever walked the face of the earth. This Columbus Day, we honor his life with reverence and gratitude, and we pledge to reclaim his extraordinary legacy of faith, courage, perseverance, and virtue from the left-wing protesters who have sought to destroy his name and dishonor his memory. And then the proclamation goes on with more information and how it's related to the Italians, how important he is to us, and it's finally signed by President Trump.
Wow, those are strong words. Those are strong words. And I just want to say to our listeners, if you have an opinion, if you have something you'd like to say, give us a call. We'll take good or bad. We'll listen. Telephone number is 978-659-0072. Once again, 978-659-0072. Tom, would you consider yourself, and I don't really like the word, a lobbyist?
You know what? Yeah. Okay, how about this? I'm an unpaid lobbyist. How's that?
That's too bad because they make good money.
I know they do. That's what happens. You know that.
Yeah.
We do this because we believe in what we're doing for this particular topic.
There's no agenda.
Yeah, no agenda, just to tell the truth, be fair about it, give a different perspective and opinion that's not being listened to, and that's why we do it. So I end up lobbying the state houses, if you want to use that word.
Okay.
And we went to the public hearings, talked to individual people that are on the committees, just to say, otherwise, hey, listen to us. Here we are. Otherwise, the Native Americans, they're the only, and the people that are progressives who think they're so virtuous by fighting for recognition for Native Americans, which is wonderful. I love their heritage. They just don't have the right understanding of the issue, and they become our enemy.
I think it's fair to assume that the Italian-American Alliance is a teaching vehicle. It's there to teach what actually took place and not make up history like that idiot Professor Howard Zinn. I hate to talk badly about anybody that's not here, but that guy and these kids that are in college right now, I'll tell you, a lot of our professors really disrupt the thinking process with some of our young adults. They really do. And this guy was one of them.
You're right. So true, Mike. And Howard Zinn wrote the People's History of America and of the United States, not America. The People's History of the United States. He wrote that book, I think, in '89, published it. And it's now become a smaller version that's been for high school students. It's become a primer.
I know. For
curriculums. And for, I think, almost 3 decades now, that's been infiltrated our curriculum. So my grandchildren, my children have a total different idea about Christopher Columbus because of what he wrote in that book. And I'll tell you, this is one thing people don't understand. His book was this thick.
Yeah, I know.
But on Columbus, he wrote just 8 pages. 8 pages. All of distortions and lies about Columbus, because that's how he pushed his agenda. It was the first chapter of his book, which was basically a declaration against the United States of America as being oppressors. He hated Western civilization.
He was a communist.
Communist, without a doubt. That's his background. So he had an agenda. So what he does, he takes history, and he said history is not objective. His opinion, history is subjective. And he's right, because to the victors goes the history. So he rewrites the history, and his book was so badly written on Columbus, and he takes things out of context just to prove that he was a first symbolism of the badness that came from Western civilization towards indigenous people, minorities, people of color, whatever. He wanted to show the oppressors and the oppressed. That's all he was interested in.
Tell me about it. But, thank God there are some books that were written that just completely go against that. That's the one. That's the one.
It says debunking Howard Zinn, exposing the fake history that turned a generation, my kids, my children, my grandchildren, against America. And that was written by Mary Graber, who does a wonderful job. And she gives information. Like there's one thing I mentioned here in the book. She basically takes and gives an example where he wrote and quoted from Zinn's diaries, 2 of his paragraphs, but she puts one was written 2 days before in his diary, and 2 days later he wrote this other paragraph, and he puts them together so it makes it sound like with 50 men we could never subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. He takes that quote, and then they would be good. Let's see. Then she takes another thing. They would be good servants, and making it sound like that's what he wants to do, is subjugate them. He was first of all describing them and admiring them.
Right.
But he takes those 2 quotes, puts them together as if he made this. That was his agenda, was to enslave them and make them servants, and that he could easily control them, which is nothing what he had in mind at all. But he writes it 8 pages, only 8 pages, and that 8 pages has destroyed Columbus. 8 pages. It wasn't even his whole book. It was just 8 lousy pages, Mike.
Hey, listen, you're getting a little excited on me. I'm starting to get nervous. So
I know.
I'm going to take a commercial break. And we'll be back. And we got a couple of other things that we're going to chat about, you and I.
You got
All right. Lou, why don't you take us out, buddy?
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas, with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
Play more, earn more, win more at Encore Boston Harbor. Sign up for Win Rewards today and score $50 in free play instantly. Score even more as you play your favorite games. New members will also receive $25 in free play for every 100 tier credits earned playing with your new Win Rewards card. Highly rewarding instantly. Visit EncoreBostonHarbor.com for more information. New members only. Further terms and conditions apply. If you or a loved one is experiencing problems with gambling and needs support, call 833-277-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org to speak with a trained specialist. Specialists are available 24/7 and services are free, confidential, and available in multiple languages.
This is Cindy.
And Mike Kunstler,
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
He is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery tender lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we are back. Today's show is all about Christopher Columbus Day. We're celebrating it Monday. And you know something, there's a lot to be celebrated about it. And, you know, I know it's a public holiday. The banks are closed. I was in the bank this morning just before I got here. The place was packed. One day closing. I mean, geez, you wouldn't think about it. Hey, Tom, I'm looking at the Post-Gazette, September 26th, which is last week's edition. And they have 2 pages full of functions that are going to happen in New England. Pam Donnarumma, let me tell you, what a credit she is to our Italian nationality. I mean, she is just something that's very, very special, her and her family. And, you know, something, it's amazing all over. I'm looking at some of these. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a whole month. It's the Italian Heritage Committee puts that schedule together and gets it to Pam so she could publish it just like that. And yeah, Pam is a cultural gift to the North End because she's got 3 generations. Her family's been running that Post-Gazette since the late 1800s. She just celebrated her 130th anniversary.
Yeah, we talked about that, Tom, on the year.
Yeah.
And I consider her a dear friend.
Me too.
And she is as sincere can be. And, you know, she wants what's right.
Right.
And I think it's I mean, you walk into her office. I mentioned this to you off the air, and of course, you know, because you have a building right next door to her office.
That's right.
And
That's right.
the Historical Society in the North End, and her office, Lou, you can't find 6 inches.
Yeah, I know. I've been in there.
Isn't it something?
Yeah, it is.
That's a museum in
Yep.
itself. Jeez, I mean, presidents. Nobody would come to the city of Boston running for a public office and a big office without going to visit Pam or her family.
That's right.
You know something? She's a special lady, like I said, and I know she's listening. And you know something, Pam? Keep doing what you're doing, babe. Keep doing what you're doing.
That's right. It's so apropos that I have 3 Prince Street now, where we are creating for the first time ever what I'm going to call is going to be a jewel of the North End, a 400-year history museum that's never been there ever. We're creating that right now, and it's right next to Pam on 3 Prince Street, right on the Freedom Trail.
Yeah.
You can't miss us. Now,
You should could have put a little door on. You could walk into Pam's office just from inside.
Well, she said that one time. We'll just punch a hole through the wall. And funny thing is, when I got the space, I called her up and said, Pam, guess what? Guess who your new neighbor is? She says, who? I said, me.
She loved it. She loved it.
And it's wonderful. It couldn't be any better. And it's gonna be ready probably in the summer of 2026. We're working very hard now, creating the design, the concepts, the hardware, the fabrication, building it out, telling the script writing, the graphics. To tell 400 years of history is a challenge.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Hey, listen, you know, Christopher Columbus, I mean, some of the things that are said about him, you have to shake your head. But it's also hard to judge what took place so many years ago with today's standards. You know, they said that, you know, he shipped slaves, he took slaves and this, that, and the other thing. And he killed some of the indigenous people. I mean, you know, slavery back then was the norm, and it was legal in Europe at that time. I mean, you look, Tom, I mean, if you take a look at the Great Pyramids in Egypt, all built by slave labor.
That's right.
You know, I mean, things have changed. And I don't know, I find it very hard to believe some of the things that are being said about Christopher Columbus, especially in that crazy book written by Howard Zinn.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate. People read things that matches their point of view of the world today, and they're very naive about history in the first place. They're, in fact, stupid is probably another word, and about the knowledge of history, and they take things out of perspective. And judging what happened 600 years ago anywhere in the world by today's standards, well, they're never going to match it and meet it.
Possible.
Okay, and it's always interesting when but see, Christopher Columbus became a political scapegoat. They chose him for an agenda, and so didn't I told you earlier that's what Zinn did. He picked them purposely to tell his whole book story about Western civilization being oppressors, and there's nothing noble about who America is or what Western civilization did for the world. So he used Columbus as a jumping off point. That's all he used it for. But then it became, and they still do that, because if they needed somebody to tear down a statue of it, well, there's more statues of Columbus in the United States than any other figure.
Absolutely.
So he became a scapegoat. And now they have to build and justify to do this, they got to tell their lies. They got to say he's a genocidal maniac, he enslaved people, he was brutal. None of that's true. None of it is true, because if you read the history of him, which nobody does, I've got wonderful books here that anybody can educate him. This one is The Hero, Christopher Columbus by Rafael Ortiz. Fantastic. He also speaks Spanish. He's from the Taino indigenous people that met Columbus when he first landed in Hispaniola. And of course, you got debunking Howard Zinn. You got the Columbuses and the quest for Jerusalem. This man was a devout Christian, and
he was a Franciscan.
He's a Franciscan, secular Franciscan. He could have been a saint.
They tried to at the first Vatican Council. there was a movement on. They wanted to canonize him.
Yeah, and the only reason why he didn't is because his first wife passed away, and he had another non-wife that he had a relationship with, and Fernando was born from him.
Was that his Grimati?
Well, see, that's like, no, this is his. Today, people would think twice. Oh, let's use today's culture.
Yeah.
So he didn't remarry, but why does someone have to get married? If you're in love with each other, just live with each other. You don't need that old-fashioned institution. Well, that old-fashioned institution is why he never became saint, because they said, well, he didn't get married in the eyes of the church. He had a child out of wedlock, basically, and therefore they held that against him. Today they say, oh, so what?
Yeah.
Let's reverse the tables now.
You're right. You're right. And on his ships, Louis, when he used to sail out, he had Franciscan friars with him on board.
The later ones he did. The first one he didn't. The first time he went, but the priest came later on.
Mm-hmm.
Next voice. But you're right. But he ran the sermons. He had everybody
every day. He had prayer service
every time. Everything he did. His purpose of taking this trip around to find a way to the east was also to find a path to Jerusalem. And he wanted to find a path because Jerusalem now was lost to the Islamic Muslims.
Okay.
And he wanted to recapture it, but they couldn't go through the Mediterranean because there was too much resistance. So let's find a way through the back door. So he was a devout believer in his Christianity, in God, in Jesus Christ, and he wanted to regain Jerusalem, which is so important to the whole religion of Catholicism. Protestant didn't exist at that time. Simple. And that was his prayer. He was not a conquistador. He wasn't a Cortez. He wasn't the other ones who came later on. They wanted to conquer people. He wanted to explore. And I try to, and this is how I educate people.
The Catholic religion also.
Yeah, and he wanted to convert people. And honestly, in his heart, he saw the Taino tribes in the Bahamas there as wonderful people that he could save their souls by converting them and do something, in his opinion, would be good for them, not to enslave them.
Talk about polar opposite opinions, huh?
Yes,
I mean,
unbelievable.
What's being spread about him?
Well, what happened, Mike, is the people that followed him, Orlando and Roland and Bobadilla, these guys were Spaniards, and they saw here, and he had lost control of them, and they're the ones that any of the horrific things and atrocities you heard, it was them, and after even Columbus was dead, that's what happened in those islands. But they hang it around his neck.
Yeah. The thing that people have to realize is, Columbus was blamed for killing indigenous people, but it was because of the diseases like smallpox, because the Europeans came there and they got it naturally. Columbus didn't poison any Indians.
No, that's why they tried to make genocide. Genocide has a purpose. They were trying not to eliminate anybody. They weren't trying to spread a disease. They weren't trying to annihilate anybody. That was not the case. And genocide is used as a word today. Just if you kill somebody, they use the word genocide.
Right.
And do you know that he made an alliance with the chief that he first met there, who was the Taino tribe, and they became friends on his first voyage. And what he found out as they communicated with each other, which is difficult because they didn't speak the same language, but they were always under attack because he saw wounds in their bodies from another tribe that came from the other part of the Caribbean, and they were called Caribs. That's the word Caribbean comes from. And they were violent,
cannibalized.
And you know what? They were also cannibalistic.
Yeah.
And all that was glanced over by Howard Zinn, because again, they always want to make the native people, indigenous people, like they were peace-loving people that were just throwing flowers in the air in nature. It's not true. They had their own natural enemies. They had their own slaves, and in this case, they would actually eat each other. And I told a friend that one time, and you know his reaction was, Mike, "Oh, come on, you're lying. That kid, he thinks I'm making it up just to make my argument." But it's historically true.
Wow.
But he wouldn't accept it because that has to be an exaggeration. But see, Columbus, you have to accept all the crap. That's not an exaggeration, but that's history too.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. So the more I've learned, the more frustrated I become.
Well, you know something, the Italian American Alliance also is getting support from some groups of indigenous people that stand exactly side by side with you, Tom. And
You're right, Mike. And thanks for bringing that up, because a couple of years ago, Mike, I said, here they have pitted us against Native Americans by fighting Indigenous Peoples Day, get rid of Columbus, one heritage and another heritage. We would never want to replace somebody else's heritage for our behalf. It'd be wrong. So guess what? I said, there's got to be somebody out there that's a Native American that has no issues about this. And son of a gun, I found it. It's called the Native American Guardian Association, NAGA, NAGA.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the president, Eunice Davison, and Tony, and we had wonderful conversations. Do you know what? We found that we believed in the same things. They found their cultures were being canceled like ours was. And they said they fight against that. And she said, I know nothing about Columbus. I've just been told I'm not supposed to like him. So we educated each other about each other's culture. And you know what? We now have a natural alliance that we support one another.
Unbelievable. That's great, Tom. That's great.
It's wonderful. We actually have a once a month solidarity call, Zoom call. And we have the Native Americans on the call with Italian Americans. And we've learned so much from each other. And you know, right now we're helping them, that they have a petition to bring the Redskin logo back to the football team in Washington.
They should.
Because
I wish we had a logo for Italian football team. I'd be proud of it. I would be.
I wonder what it'll look like. Anyways, we should create one.
Be the hand signal.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. No, I mean, I think that's fantastic.
It is. And you see, people thought they were getting rid of a racist logo. And I find out that our friends from the Lakota tribes, etc., there's over 500 tribes in the United States, and they have many people in their organization. The Redskin to them was never a racist term. But the white people, progressives, they came to the conclusion it was, and they made the decision to get rid of it. The Fighting Sioux in the Dakotas for the school, they got rid of the Board of Trustees, and the Native Americans said Fighting Sioux is something we're proud of. We're warriors. We're proud of this.
Yeah.
They had a petition. 90% of the people from that area were for it, and they said, we don't care. We still got rid of it. This is the white people telling the Native Americans, we don't like your logo.
Yep.
Unbelievable. It's great.
This is what's happened. It's all that progressive virtual signaling crap that came from the cancel culture movement. That is, somebody had this idea that they could tell us morally what we should think and believe because they know best.
All right. You know what I'd like you to talk about now? June 26th of this year in a community called Newton. Now, easy. Control yourself.
That actually went nationally.
I know it did.
It's true.
I know it did. Well, why don't you tell our listeners that missed exactly the shenanigans that went on? And that word shenanigans, I steal from Louis because he uses it quite a bit.
Well,
what took place?
Well, what happened is that there's a feast that's held on a certain street in Newton. I can't remember the name of the street. And every year they would have the line that goes down the middle of the street would have the colors, the red.
It was Adams Street.
Adams Street, thank you. Red, white, and blue. The Italian colors, okay? Red, white, and green, right down the middle. Well, the mayor of Newton, can't remember her name, but she decided that it was dangerous to have that in the middle of the street. And so before the feast is held, she has it removed.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, right. And of course, it created a big.
No.
Well, we use the word Italian word, a big scavia.
That too.
Amongst the organization, the neighbors there, everybody. And it looked so anti-Italian the way she did it, and tried to defend herself. The more she did that, the more ridiculous she sounded.
I
Well,
know.
finally, one of the neighbors who happens to be Jewish, he went out there and started to paint the Italian colors back on the street and got arrested, I think. Now he's being defended by an Italian group because charges were brought against him. But it backfired on him. It looked very anti-Italian. It was so unnecessary, and it went national story. Yeah. Just a small example.
It's amazing in today's day and age how people still have hatred for other people. Maybe the word hatred is a little bit strong, but I don't know what the reasoning was and what she was thinking. I mean, she was on her last few days of being mayor.
Yeah, another example.
Another Janie.
She wasn't worried about another vote. See, that's why.
This is it. The other, if she was running again, I mean, you think about it. How many Italians? What are there? 800,000 Italians in New England?
Yeah, Massachusetts. We're like probably the third largest Italian percentage of population in the country. New York has more than us, and even Chicago because they're bigger states. But percentage-wise, we're the third largest percentage.
But in New York, the Italian section, the Mulberry Streets, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and not as active as it used to be. In Boston, we have a very vibrant Italian area, the North End.
Right.
And even though the population in the North End has gone down considerably with Italians, it's still a voice to be recognized, correct?
We're very visible. The character of the North End is still what people refer to as a Little Italy or Italian enclave because it has 90 restaurants, pastry shops, coffee shops, cafes, even one butcher shop that's still there. There's vestiges of the old neighborhood is still there. A lot of it's disappeared, but we've still got enough that the Santa Maria on Richmond Street, you see the flavor is still very strong.
And that's what people love.
That's
right. Why, I mean, you got the seaport area within walking distance of the North End, and there's one restaurant after another. They're right on the water, beautiful views. Yet you can't get into a restaurant in the North End. Like Tom said, there's over 90 odd restaurants.
Right.
You can't get in some nights.
That's right. Friday night, Saturday night, the lines are out the door. The Modern Pastry and Mike's Pastry. Weekends, it goes around the corner of the line. So and it's a destination that people love coming to. And every time I brought friends from out of town or people from Europe, they love it. they always want to go back there.
Tom, I got to take a quick break. You can stick with me until noon.
Oh, as long as you want, Mike.
Oh, who's better than you, dude? Nobody. That's who. Louis, take us out, buddy.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
Play more, earn more, win more at Encore Boston Harbor. Sign up for Win Rewards today and score $50 in free play instantly. Score even more as you play your favorite games. New members will also receive $25 in free play for every 100 tier credits earned playing with your new Win Rewards card. Highly rewarding instantly. Visit EncoreBostonHarbor.com for more information. New members only. Further terms and conditions apply. If you or a loved one is experiencing problems with gambling and needs support, call 833-273-5050 or visit GamblingHelplineMA.org to speak with a trained specialist. Specialists are available 24/7 and services are free, confidential, and available in multiple languages.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler.
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
he is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
I don't know what happened to the audio. You're back, Mikey.
We're back?
Yep.
All right. All I'm looking at is kind of a blank screen, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah, there we are. Hey, Tom,
Hey, Mike. I get hungry looking at those commercials.
you know something? If you don't, there's something wrong with you.
I know.
Mediterranean branzino fish. Do you ever have that?
No, but I've seen it cooked at tables and things of that sort.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a piece of art. It really is. Wednesday night, I was at the Boston Encore Casino, and we went for dinner. And boy, I'll tell you, at the Seamark Seafood, and it was probably. I mean, I've had it in Italy, I've had it in Vegas, I've had it all over I got to tell you, Tom, you and your wife, you're going to love it.
What restaurant did you say it was?
CMAC. CMAC.
It's the
Encore?
Encore?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's on the first floor. As soon as you walk into the building, if you valet your car, and I know you're a sports, so you always valet your car, it's right there. It's a beautiful room. And I have to tell you, the general manager, Leroy, he does a fantastic job. He orchestrates that room. All he does is look at people with his eyes, and they know exactly what needs to be done. And I love something like that. That's
perfect.
Hey, listen, a conversation has been all about Christopher Columbus. And you know something? I love when you come on with me, because I could talk to you for 2-3 hours, because your passion shows. And you know, and just to think about it, you know, the space shuttle that went up in 81, I believe it was.
And what do they call it?
Columbia.
That's right.
Columbia, baby. Columbia.
Good.
You know, one of the first coins minted in the United States honored Christopher Columbus.
That's right.
So, I mean, we got
the Columbus doors in the Capitol building.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Columbus door.
But let's just change gears for the few minutes that we got left, Tom, and I'm looking at probably 4 minutes. Let's talk about your other job. I'm going to call it a job because I know how much work you put into it. The North End Historical Society.
Yeah, well, it becomes something else that I got involved with several years ago and became a director, and I have friends on that, the original one that I joined, and we love our Italian heritage so much, and I had good friends that have done some great stories on the North End photographs, Anthony Riccio, Jimmy Pasto, Alex Goldfeld, who was the former president of the North End Historical Society. And I really came up with the idea that in order to preserve the history that they were documenting and writing books about it, that we need a museum in the North End. And I went looking for a space, and I found one about 5 years ago off on by the Lovejoy Loft space, and I had it all set up to. It was going to be rent-free and everything else, and I had a special deal with the developer. That was how they proposed it, and I was one of the qualified people. And when push came to shove, when I made a presentation, we knocked it out of the park. It didn't happen. They gave it to somebody else.
Wow.
So, but I never lost sight of finding a spot. And this year, I can't believe how times go back. This property came up for sale on 3 Prince Street, which I always walked by all my life. For 50 years, I've known that spot where it is. But it was empty and empty and empty and empty. I was wondering, what the hell's behind there? Well, it was an empty spot for years. The owner just never developed it. His family owned the building. He has 4 condominiums. This is the bottom floor. Well, he put it up for sale, and I said, oh, my God, this location is too good to pass out. Right on the Freedom Trail. So I talked to my good friend Frank DiPasquale, who
the best.
He feels the same way about us, about our heritage, the North End, and he knew what I was trying to do for years, and he always supported what I was trying to do. So when I told him, Frank, this spot is just perfect, he didn't hesitate. The man said, you're right, and he purchased the property. And now I'm his tenant.
So that building is owned by Frankie Pasquale?
Frankie Pasquale owns it, and I'm his tenant.
Along with 6 other restaurants in the North End.
Huh?
Along with some of his great restaurants in the North
Well,
End.
of course. So he made that possible, and he knew this was too good to pass up, and he knows what I was trying to do. And so I have a 5-year lease with him, $1 a year, but I have all the other expenses I have to take care of. But now I have to build out the museum, which is going to cost us probably $350,000 with Trivium Interactive, which is to create the content, the screens, the fabrication, the graphics.
Good for you. Good for you.
Projectors, all this. And I've been working. They're professionals. This is what they do. But I needed something like that because this is a great. How do you create a museum in 1 year? You don't. But I'm going to do it. We're going to do it. Our committees to do it. The North End Historical Society, our board of directors, were focused on it, and we got a lot of support. You know, we had 125 people already donated towards that project, and I have a grant coming from the State House thanks to Aaron Michaelwitz, who's been also supporting me for 7 years on this idea. So
you have a web page where people can make a donation?
yes, it's make sure I get it right here. It's the northendboston.org. That's our website, northendboston.org. And you can get online, and there's a button there to press for donation, and you can make whatever donation you like or become a member of the North End Historical Society. I have a wonderful newsletter that goes out every week or two, and it keeps them historically involved with the North End with great photos, stories, events, etc. And it's a great cause, great reason, and this will be open, I hope, in late August or September of 2026, and that's going to be amazing.
Tom, what can I tell you except thank you. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us. It's always a very fast-moving show, but I'm out of time, and I'd like to get together with you someday. And the Sicilian Corner, if it can be of any help to you and what you're trying to do, please let us know.
Well, if you have any ideas too, Mike, let me know. We'll have a cup of coffee. I enjoyed our lunch we had last time, but I enjoy you very much. You're a good friend. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. And next week we'll be back, and we'll be on time and everything else, and we can see the screen. I don't sit here waiting for the intro, but anyway. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy.
Thank you.